a YouTuber, old cargo, very, very, very bad with technology. But we are all witnesses to the great predicament that has befallen our great nation. Oh my God, I sound like Sani Abacha. We are all living witnesses of all this madness that has overtaken our country. And as a people, we want to be a part of it. And we want to talk about the type of things. And we want to share sincere and honest opinions about what is going on in our country as a people, as a nation, as people who care for our country. But Nigeria is a captured state. It's a state that has been captured by very terrible, horrible human beings. We don't have professionals or stands in the right position to help us out with things that we want to do. So the press are totally in of those that have created our problem. But for us as individuals, as people striving for full citizenship, we have to play our role. We have to fight back. We have to talk back. We have to do whatever it is within our power to get that country back. And this is a fact. So today we want to give a grandstanding awards to people in Nigeria who have destroyed our country. We call it Hall of Shame, 100 enemies of Nigeria. The problem with Nigeria is that a lot of people don't know who their enemy is. They don't know that they are working with the enemies. They don't know a lot of things. We want to make these an informative process and things like that. But before I go on, I want to ask OIA and Liberation, how can I make you guys co-host so that you guys can help me add people on and things like that? How do you do the co-host thing? Can you guys give me a feedback on that?
Yeah. You click on the anybody that host, you click on that profile.
On their profile? Okay.
There's an option to send them a co-host.
Okay, I clicked on your profile right now.
I did suggesting something.
Okay.
Please proceed. And it seems as though the host will be interested in what you are saying. I have sent him the picture that you sent to me. Please check your WhatsApp. So
okay,
you follow along. Adege is saying it. So
okay,
we'll now figure whether or not we want to really proceed with the program. But while is that, you can send me the code. Just press the. Are you still in the space?
Yeah, I'm in the space. I've clicked your chat now. Right? Yeah.
Okay, just press the
invite to host. Okay, I see it.
Just press that.
Okay.
Press that,
okay.
That is it. Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen it. Yeah. So you do the same thing to OIA.
And then to African Wahala too, right? Or how many co-hosts can we have?
Only have two.
Only two. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just two people. Just two people you can host according to their rules.
Okay. Anyway. You are allowed to allow up to two co-hosts. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost two. Yeah.
Okay. No problem.
Ade, please proceed. You'd like to say something?
Go ahead, Ade. Okay.
We plan to do this as a visual.
Yes.
So there are some photos that I sent that Liberation Chat would have sent to you right now.
Yeah.
If we could postpone the award ceremony.
Okay.
So that we can utilize those posts, create them for all our awardees.
Okay.
So that we can, on the day when we are giving them their award, we can give them their better award.
We can placarize the award for them.
Exactly. That's what I was suggesting.
Oh, okay. Let me.
Maybe we can start it for 2026. It depends on you, but at the end of the day, it's all at your prerogative. I just want to suggest that.
Yeah, I was just thinking that since we've advertised and that we are doing this show today, let's we could do a rerun. There's nothing wrong with a rerun because people are anticipating, not just here on the YouTube, on Facebook, on everything. They're anticipating to hear this award, and since we couldn't run it directly on YouTube. Let's just go ahead, and then I'm doing a rerun of it. I hope they could hear you. I'm gonna go check later when you all are talking. Let's just proceed, do the award, and then later on we'll refine it and do it better. Um, I think so, because there would be a follow-up award, because today we just want to focus on the bad, negative people. There will be one for the good and positive people coming up, and so then we will refine it and definitely make it better. I think we should just I don't know. You guys outvote me. I'll go canceling, but I just think people waiting. Then let's give them something. Let's give them something before the end of the year.
I believe we should give them something, but it will not depend on the magnitude with which the degree we want to go about it with today's plan B that we are going with now. So we're going to go full throttle, or we will have to backtrack a little bit, perhaps even reduce, maybe just highlight just two parts category, then by the time we reschedule.
No, I think we should go full throttle. I truly believe we should.
Okay. Then we'll just rerun later.
We'll rerun later. Yeah, we should go full throttle, and then we'll rerun later. Because as we're speaking now, it's only my visual is being seen, but it's running on YouTube, it's running on Facebook, it's running on this X. So it's on YouTube, and on YouTube right now we have like 3 waiting. We apologize for the delay. Let's just get it started, and they can hear you guys, and let's do it. I mean, yeah, technical problem. Otherwise, we don't let anything stop us. We just keep marching forward.
Yeah, but if you can still manage to send the link for this current one that you are ready now, maybe for perhaps we'll just go one at a time instead of cramping the whole screen with all of us. So you just take us one at a time. So those that are tuned into the live stream would be able to see those that are making the presentation. How about that, sir?
You mean if I can repeat that?
You are currently live now, right?
Right, yeah. But it's only my own visual, and yeah, I got you. So you're saying that if
send the link so that one person at a time would you as they present.
Oh, that might be a good idea. One as they present. Okay, let me do that.
So we are here and we are there at the same time.
At the same time, I got you. I'm doing that right now. I'm doing that for you. Hey, you want to say hi to the crowd? Say hi. Okay, I'm sending it to you now. Let's see. I see what you mean. So they can climb instead of all of us trying to come in.
Yes, all of us climbing the whole thing.
And then maybe that was why we had that technique earlier.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
And so it will be running simultaneously here and there. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Maybe the technicality would not obstruct with one person at a time. I mean myself all the time is someone is talking. I'm sending it to you now. It's coming in. So welcome everybody. For those listening to us, we want to give an award. If I've ruined the country, we want to talk about historical perspective of how we got to where we are and what is our current situation as we are dealing with Nigerian situation. And also, as part of the current news event happening, we want to wish Joseph, what's his name, the boxer? Somebody help me, I've forgotten his name. Anthony Joshua. Yes, Anthony Joshua, speedy recovery. But the issue that happened to Anthony Joshua is one of the few things we will talk about on this show, and how rich people are a problem of that country. But when an emergency occurs, it's everybody that is affected, and even your money or wealth or social status is not going to save you. And that is why it is important that we all have a very good, now we struggle and fight for it, which is what we are. So I just sent you the link, and then so whoever wants to talk first will talk, we'll do it like that. But in the meantime, I'm going to read my introduction for this presentation, and then after I'm with my presentation, I'll take a little break and you can take over, because I got my daughter and a dog here waiting for me to talk to me, but that's okay. Anyway, did you get it? My Liberation Space, did you get the link?
Yes, I've got it. I'll send the link to you now. Because you are the first on the link category, so yeah, we'll get it going from there. Yeah, and if I can also join from my other device, I will do that. Yes.
Bola,
yeah, thank you so much.
To do me a favor, come here. Come, Bola, come take her out. Bola, come go to your YouTube and see if it's working right. Take her out. It's just me. My YouTube and see if everything is working right. If you can hear us clearly. Anyway,
can you also post the link on the comment section?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Post it, but okay, yeah, you're right. If I post it on the comment section, wouldn't people be trying to join? I just don't have to accept them.
The link for the normal link, the link for guests, right?
Yeah.
But even if people try to cramp the whole link, you have the discretion
to admit them.
To bring it. So don't worry. Post the link. Let me post the link on the comment section.
Okay, no problem. Oh, Olumide is on YouTube listening, and I got some other people on YouTube also listening. I hope Olumide, if you can hear us and hear the people on Twitter, indicate on your YouTube comment. So we know whether the audio is coming out through properly.
OIA, please check if you have the second device that you can use to tune into the video.
See if you can hear the audio, both my own audio and the audio coming from Twitter. Okay. Olumide, can you indicate for me if you can hear? I know you're busy at work, and also Pyroplasm. Check just like watching us on YouTube. Yeah, so Ola has joined me. Let me add Ola for now, and then we'll continue with our initial conversation. Yeah.
So okay. Just give me
Ola.
For a minute, I'm trying to turn on my laptop now as the second device.
And okay, yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, Ola. So that's very good. African Wahala, on your YouTube, can you hear the Twitter people? Liberation speak, so that let's check if African Wahala can hear you on YouTube. Liberation.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Testing my microphone. Yeah. Can everybody hear me?
Indicate if you can. Indicate on your YouTube comment, because I see you here. You can hear the Twitter comments, not just my voice.
The Movement Radio. I'm on the stream platform. I'm in the backstage.
Okay. Which platform are you on? The Twitter platform?
No, the Restream.
Restream platform. Okay, you're on the backstage. Let me get you in. Yeah.
But mind you, host, don't bring everyone at time, so you're not shut down the host.
Yeah, I'm bringing in whoever is going to be the next presenter.
At the time, please.
Who is presenting now? Is it Comrade Gay or is it?
OIA.
First is OIA. Okay, I'll make sure it's OIA. It's okay, Comrade Gay.
Yes.
Category. I think from my end,
I got to put up the introduction before we start going to categories.
All right.
Yeah, I want to briefly run down the intro. Nigeria in the diaspora, both at home and in Nigeria. We, as the year is ending, the Movement Radio is wishing everybody a prosperous new year as we go into the new year. But as the year goes to an end, it will serve us well as Nigerians to know which battles we want to fight and what wars are worth winning. We all need to stand and fight for ourselves. That's the basic truth. Our government is not going to, people from outside are not going to do it for us. But to do that, you have to be a clear understanding of who and what your enemies are. Who your enemies are. You understand? If we enemies are, you will only be fighting in vain. So do that. Don't be too focused on the imagine. Yes, somebody.
Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah, don't be
Somebody
too
saying
focused
something.
on the. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. All has been added. Don't be too
Yeah,
focused on the. Yeah, yeah. Let us not be too focused on the imaginary enemy, our misguided elites on the media and on social media wants us to believe. We should be focused on who the real and the actual enemies are. What pragmatic reality tells us are our enemies, those that are responsible for our woes, whereby we have a country and we have to come up with a phrase that says that may Nigeria never happen to you, meaning literally that the country has become a weapon fashioned against its own people, you know. So we have decided to give award to those that have turned your country into a weapon that is fashioned against you. There is a liberation struggle awaiting the minds of those that are conscious. The Nigerian state has been captured by terrible of evil men. And as long as we are in denial about this, we put our heads in the sand regarding this, we're going nowhere, either as a people or as a country. We are going nowhere. Our heads are in the sand regarding our real situation. Nigeria, as it's currently constituted, is a crime scene, and it dishonors the black man. It dishonors the black. It's currently constituted. We don't have the behavior of a true Omoluabi. Today we will tell you about the elites and its repulsive odor of shame and a host of disease they carry. When the Nigerian elites speak, it's offensive to hear, it's corrosive to the community, and it's poisoning the very people, particularly black people. Their objective nowadays is that the Nigerian majority, not all of most of the elites, educated ones, or the ones in politics, or the ones in the press, they're making insanity mainstream. They want you to argue about the value of human supremacy, and they have a view or they have an opinion, and in pursuing their opinion, their key land, let me land into if you want to land the cross, because there are no different views to the fact that all men are fighting for not the current big manism whereby only the big man can go suffer. But be that as it may, Nigerians are ignoring the fact that on the march in the country right now as we speak is not fascism that we saw in Hitler Germany. We're talking more virulent and violent form of fascism, this Islamofascism. And this fascism, make no mistake about it, is being championed by the APC. APC, as the country currently stands, organized force and mobilized force that we see in Nigeria today. Yes, you might say, yeah, but we have they are just majority, apart from maybe the showroom, majority of the other parties are just fingernail proxy hand, because they also believe in the same ideology that the APC believes, with no ideology of to destroy, which is not shouldn't be a political. They are the only ranging power, and they are the to freedom today, tomorrow, and if you're smart and you're listening to this fact. Now, this movement, APC and the forces of fascism and Islam fascism, are in disguises, and they are in various form of mutation and progression as we stand currently in this country. They have taken over your judiciary. I call them the Ari, because they have betrayed the people. They've taken over the legislature. the legislature, your representatives, senators, those ones is a body of nihilists, moral anarchists, scavengers, sex slaves, stars with a few sprinkling of a few principled men. Not just that, you want to talk about your executive, the president, the presidential board, minister, those are the source and the ocean of pollution mankind has ever seen. Defilement and untolerable vileness of the fountain of a nation. Sadly, it took us 8 years to see that Buhari was not a Democrat. The APC brought in Buhari. It did damage to that country far way beyond what we all could imagine. And then a Milokan of the Tinubu clan, which is more of a monarchist. You can see his son acting like a prince with security guards everywhere. They're the Yaloja, his wife, so they impose themselves as your king. And I don't know if a king is what you want, or you want a nation where you will have a voice. Racism is on course, but Nigerians, we are too busy having wrong conversation. All of the arms of government are taking press. The press has been a huge disappointment from the days I was a child, even though I'm approaching my 60s now. The press in the days of the NTA have always been nothing but a sedative appeal that they give us. Only the side big man. Nobody talks about the side of the people, or the side of the mass. It's only the country that even call its own people masses, and the leaders of their own. Everything is wrong with that country. So therefore, the press are combines. Their primary mission is to sedate and trivialize issues. Trivialize issues or topics of sex, mundane issues disguised as intellectual talk. And they are also over the internet now as bloggers, talk show hosts, moderators, or you find them everywhere. That part is that all they do is echo their own stupid voices. What we hear, you see, future generations gain not from these people or these echo chambers or the press. That end as exactly like an echo, a reverberating benefit, no gain, no hope for change. And these are the echo chambers we have on the internet everywhere with a few names. We even have awards ready for some of them. Now, the civil society also have been taken over by these APC groups. They call themselves activists. They are all over the place, but they're never really on the ground. They own and control the religious elements. The RCGG is the religious wing of the APC, whether you want to admit it or not. And several of these profiteering pastors that call themselves the puppets that call themselves pastors. So the churches and the monks keep asking the slaves to pray and fast for hope renewed. That's the state the country is now. This is a very terrible climate and for control and domination. And it's a kind of fascistic domination that they want it from the judgment coming out from the court, So anybody see PDP, LP, all these political alphabets we have are parties with no ideology, but the ideology of destruction. But Nigerians need truth. I'm rounding up now. The truth is this: anyone telling you to stand with power while the nation falls apart is not a people. They are an accomplice. And moderators on the internet are not just complicit, they are soundtrack of that betrayal. The government is in coma. And these people, this elite, the mirror, instead of sounding the alarm, the country does not need motivational speakers of failures. It does not need evangelists of excuses. It need political bellboys pretending to be patriots. Nigeria needs the truth. You cannot ask people to stand with a system that refuses to stand with them. You cannot guilt trip a nation into silence while their homes turn to burial ground. You cannot lecture grieving parents about patience while you chase clouds from safe distance. because grief is that road that just went. Oh God, damn that country, damn Nigeria, damn the experience if Nigeria happens to you. Most Nigerian elites, those abroad and at home, who are benefiting from these abnormalities, are no longer a voice. They will tell you they are a voice. They want to keep advice, want to talk here, there, that. They are no longer a voice. They are an echo of whoever signed their next deal, an echo of whoever invites them to the next deal, an echo of whichever politician told them. Most Nigerian discussion in and on the internet are nothing but an echo chamber that benefit no one, no Nigerian, that affect no reality, but noise and complaint, leaving us with nothing but the echoes itself is all we have. You wait a few seconds and their voices bounce back to exerted from, making the rounds from start to finish. Yet, the signal we as Nigerians have sent the world is clear. We are weak. But let me tell you one fact. There is no eternal power that can solve our problems. Whether US is bombing in Sokoto or not, they're not going to solve our problems. No external nation has ever secured the destiny of another. The responsibility belongs to the citizens. What we are saying is this: whether we admit it or not, we are no longer fully in control of collective destiny, at least not in matters of sovereignty and security. This is a dangerous signal. This is the conversation we must have as citizens. See, which we are not. That's another tragedy in itself. We keep approaching the issue as a democratic one, but rather we have a liberation struggle at our hand, a liberation struggle against our new masters, our new colonizers, our new slave masters. We must ask the hard question. We must give truthful awards. A government that casts a vote of no confidence forfeits the moral right to demand confidence from its people. If the greatest challenge facing Nigeria security and the government says it cannot solve it without external intervention, then one must ask the very important question: what is the purpose of that government? If a government cannot guarantee the welfare of people, it has failed at the most level. And it is a fact we must confront honestly. Our awards, Hall of Shame for 100 Enemies of Nigeria, highlight this truth. So my introduction, I'm going to hand over the microphone back now to Ola, and then we're going to start with the award presentation. Ola, back to you. Do I take myself off the screen for now? Yeah, so that I can add civic space. Go ahead, Ola.
Yes, you're audible. Yes, you're audible. Y- okay, all right, sir. Yeah, well, you do it one at a time. You call one award as the first award goes to so and so. and then you give your commentary, your analysis on why we are giving him or the person such award. Then we'll move to the next and the next and the next, and that will be the format of it. Yeah. You've got 10 awards, so but not all the 10. I think we had a backdoor discussion on some of the ones that will have reservations on. Not 10, it's 7 now. Yeah, based on our discussion on the reservations we have on and of course this award is on a with us. And you can disagree with us. We just want to put it out there, then leave it for public analysis, basically. But we'll put it out there as an educational material that people can interface with. Yes, yeah.
I believe someone would have heard this, and not a country. To bring us down what's goes up to that play across Africa. Many people actually think Lord Lugard in Nigeria, but it played a role across Africa. So a quick rundown on this. In the late 18th century, Lugard played a role in countries like Uganda as the military administrator in Uganda, brought it to where it is today historically. Just as we had the Royal Niger Company as well, Nigeria. Same way we had companies can Lake Company, where Lugard managed and used to carry out in countries like Malawi, Mozambique, and most benefits in continents. To the point that the British government recognized the sources of this expedition across many of, and further used this principle across many of the other African countries, like the Gold Coast that we know as Ghana today, Kenya, Zimbabwe of today. You see why this man deserves this award, So in our case in Nigeria, it fused regions with opposing cultures, religion, political systems, and views into a single entity, consultation or preparation. This artificial union created in our country, Nigeria, whose internal contradictions were baked into its foundation. The result of this fusion is structurally unstable state where ethnic suspicion, political imbalance, and regional rivalry became permanent features of our national life. This is Lord Lugard. This is the man, and I have a very, very good interest in Lord Lugard, unlike many of the other awards I'm going to be naming today. The second award goes to the Pre-Amalgamation Exploiter Award, and this award goes to the Royal Niger Company. Many of us have heard about the Royal Niger Company before it existed as a nation. The Royal Niger Company operated like a corporate empire under a British charter, right? It monopolized trade, imposed unfair treaties, extracted resources, and used military force to secure profit. Their activities weakened indigenous governance, disrupted local, and paved the way for full colonial domination. They're not nation builders. We can see the effect of that today in our country, Nigeria. They were profit-driven conquerors, whose legacy in exploitation disguised in commerce. It was the Royal Niger Company that bettered the likes of the Hausa boys, the West African Frontier Force. They created all of this, and here we have it, and how that has stabilized our dear country, Nigeria. The third award goes to the Divide and Rule Innovator. This award goes to the British colonial, and why we are giving this award to the British colonial office is that the colonial office perfected the art of manipulating ethnic differences, control through indirect rules, selective and parasitic groups, and big barrier. They created this imaginary borders. The balkanization of the continent of Africa was not just done across the continent alone or just continents alone. It was done in the countries itself. So even in Africa, in Nigeria, the balkanization, God had those, it wasn't about territory, it was about identification of indigenous people of that area or location. But of course, the British colonial office did that to us. The arbitral border, they engineered the system that rewarded division, punished, and do all sorts of things that you can even imagine. You can never even imagine. That's what I mean. So their policies entrenched ethnic stereotypes, even development, and ensured that post-independence Nigeria inherited a political structure designed for conflict, not cohesion. Their legacy is the institutionalization of mistrust. Yes, that is what they did to us. And before I even go far on that, is when the British came on board, they did not come on board as the British government. They came as a company, which we initially spoke about. Lord Dad worked for this private company as the head of administrative. He ran as one of the administrative head, and he did so well that when the British bought for over £80,000, I believe, they employed Lord Lugard back government into the British colonial office. Continue his managerial, as they will call it, the Royal Niger Company, which later became the Nigeria we know of today. Okay, the fourth award goes to Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. The First Republic Corruption Enabler Award goes to this guy. Balewa government was plagued by rampant corruption. It was privilege to be the first prime minister, but he took any meaningful he could not bring about any meaningful development in our nation. They ran rampant corruption, regional favoritism, and political paralysis happened during his era, his government. Instead of building a pride national identity, his administration deepened regional blocks and allowed patronage network to flourish in our country. His inability to control political violence, electoral, ethnic rivalry created the perfect storm that led to the 1966 coup, the first of its kind since independence. His leadership represents a missed opportunity to stabilize Nigeria's fragile democracy. And that is why we are giving this, this award to these guys. So I hope we are all following this award. I hope if you have your take on this award, we could always talk about this award later on, but these are the awards. So the fifth award goes to the Northern Isolation Champion Award, Asa Amadou Bello. We are giving this award to Sir Amadou Bello. Amadou Bello prioritized Northern autonomy over national integration. We are not making this up. He said it in a live video interview how he saved those from the southeastern part of our country. His policies emphasize cultural and political separation, resisting efforts to modernize or integrate the North with the South. He fostered a mindset viewed national unity with suspicion, reinforcing the idea that North should remain politically dominant, yet socially insulated. What an oxymoron there. This deepened regional divide and contributed to the enduring North/South tension that still shapes our dear country, Nigeria politics today. That is Ahmadu Bello for you. And there goes the sixth award. The sixth award goes to Major Chukuma Egu. To be honest, I have a soft spot, a bit of a soft spot. But I'm just going to talk about this because it was at the time we were not ripe. And Major Chukuma Nzegu, even though he was a radicalist, even though he was a Marxist, as they would call him, he carried out a coup. It was a coup because it was a military. He carried out a coup. In his own terminology, he was, paving way for a revolution. However, we have come to the realization from experience and history that you cannot carry out a revolution on behalf of the people. The people must carry out this revolution by themselves. So the 1966 coup was framed as an anti-corruption revolution, but it unleashed ethnic violence at the end, because that was what led to all of this, that particular scene there led to all of this First Republic, Second Republic, Third Republic, Fourth Republic, as we all have now. It was that the beginning of that, so afterwards. And that's why we are giving him this award. Even though some may argue it was for the benefit of the people and all of this, from his ideological view and all of that, but of course his actions today speaks volume to our what has been done to our country, where we have plunged into as a nation. The seventh award goes to General Yakubu Gowon, the Civil War Prolonger Award. So the Civil War Prolonger Award, we are giving this award to General Yakubu Gowon. General Yakubu Gowon. General Yakubu Gowon, just to run this. General Yakubu Gowon on board after Agun Ironsi. Agun Ironsi took over power after capturing, Chukuma Kaduna Nzegu. Then Yakubu Gowon, Aguiyi-Ironsi took over, then Theophilus Danjuma, led a military coup because they perceived that as an Igbo coup. So that Theophilus Danjuma led the northern military against Aguiyi-Ironsi. This happened in Ibadan. And unfortunately, Adekunle Fajri was also assassinated alongside. Yes, history told us that they don't intend to assassinate Fajri, but Fajri said, if you are going to kill my visitor, then you have to take all of us along, and that was how he died alongside Aguiyi-Ironsi. And after that assassination, there was a vacuum, and General Yakubu Gowon came on board. I just have to do a rundown so you see the progression and how this progression leads to our, transgression today in our dear country, Nigeria, lead to where we are today as a failing state of Nigeria. From Yakubu Gowon, who we are giving the award of longer award. Why? Because of his role in Nigeria Civil War, the popular Civil War, also known as the Biafra War. So we recognize the man who presided over Nigeria's darkest chapter in life. Until this very day, we are yet to heal as a nation. We are yet to heal as a people. Any help matters because he said no victor, no vanquish. That saying. It was Yakubu Gowon. This is a man who said we have money, but we do not know how to spend it. You can imagine, these are people that we call elder statesmen today, who do not have vision, who do not have imagination. How then can we call people without imagination elders? So Gowon's leadership during the Biafra War was marked by indecision, prolonged blockades, and humanitarian catastrophe. His refusal to negotiate early or address the grievances that led to secession resulted in a conflict that claimed more than 1 million lives. Many died through starvation. Is no victor, no vanquished. Rather, years of suffering that could have, been avoided. His tenure symbolizes unavoidable tragedy. And later on, he was taken over through a coup of the first bloodless coup, which happened during Muritala Gowon era. One thing also we also learned the wrong of General Yakubu Gowon was during the Aburi Accord, because there was a move to actually avoid the war, But during the Aburi Accord, they agreed, for peace to reign. There was a signage to that, and General Yakubu Gowon refused to, hold his own end of that agreement, and that eventually led to the coup. I mean, this is basically the root cause of that coup. So, these are the awards we are issuing out there to some of the who has caused the failure we are experiencing in our dear country, Nigeria today. Some of those who have caused us to remain in darkness instead of light. And these awards are not given in celebration, but in solemn reflection of their attitude, their actions and inaction, but not just the names, but the consequences of people and the future leaders learn that nation building requires more than maps, markets, and of it. Just like our host said the movement radio, that's saying on their mandates they will stand, but they want to, like history has it, like we are doing today. We are preparing their own award. We are preparing the award for this. So like Gowon is still alive, and we're gonna decide to issue this award. So they to build a nationary, imaginary justice and unity. And if our elders that can imagine, elders that has vision, how then do we want to make any meaningful their energy and strength? The creation of the youth lies in the vision and imagination of the past. And this is where we want to end it for today's based on the award we have issued. And thank you very much, our host. Thank you for giving us the privilege to be one of the panelists. I am OIA. I am one of the panelists that have decided this great, prestigious award to some of the renowners of our nation. Thank you very much.
That was very good. I was just had a few input into what you read in that historical perspective. I think there should have been more more people included in those awards, because everything really started going down for this country in that 1966, the events of 1966. Not just first the January event, the mayors, the January event catalyzed the July events, basically, because things did not happen properly. Let me tell you what happened in the January event that I think shot a few more people into the award list. When the mutiny from the north, Nzegu was successful in the north and they failed in the south. It means the mutiny failed. So there was no need for Aguiyi Rosie to have taken over power. It's like that Nigerian leadership thing of self-preservation, or for self, rather than making decisions on behalf of the country. If a coup failed and the number one out, what protocol demand is that you hand over to number two person. So the military shouldn't have taken over, but Unrosi wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about, okay, I want to restore peace, or what else he was thinking. And that was a huge mistake, because it made the interpretation of that coup to look sectional, because the military should not have taken over, because the coup failed. If it failed, it failed. How can the coup be announced to have been failed, and yet military? That means the coup was a success. That means you're part of the coup, or you took advantage of the coup. That's part of the Nigerian problem. One person always likes to take advantage of the other. Rosie should be on the list of those awards. I don't believe I did hear his name. I think you did mention his name. Also, that's a major one for that January one. Then the sixth one was the one you should have included more people in those awards, and those generals that were from the Western region, that one that ran to England, and another one that accepted a governorship position, which did on the month. For those generals should have stood as soldiers when the mutiny occurred, because the movie cities, they had Abeokuta, Ibadan, and Ikeja. They didn't even have the whole of Lagos. It was most Nigerian civil servants, mostly from minority tribes, that would come, because the negotiation went on for like 3 days, and with the help of the British, that the power should be handed over to Gowon. Gowon will work harder to some other officers. Since the issue was being regarded sectional, they didn't have the whole country. The biggest mistake they made was those who were supposed to stand as men in July 1966 did not stand as men and failed that nation, because they were cowards. They ran. They were afraid of death, and they accepted positions rather than this is the right thing to do. And that created problem for the country, because that was how power shifted. Everything became more imbalanced as it was trying to adjust from January. And then the counter coup that now took Gowon out. And I believe you should have given Morital an award, because muted a lot to the destruction of that country, even though he was presented as an hero. He did contribute a lot. He was on the neck of Gowon throughout the entire regime of Gowon, probably one of the major pushers against the Aburi Accord, because the Aburi Accord have stood for peace, and the million Nigerians or more shouldn't have died because a few people want to be in power. Gowon is still alive today, and he still hasn't given a single explanation to Nigerians on why he rejected the Aburi Accord to allow 5 million Nigerians, or 3 to 5 million Nigerians, to die in that civil war. That was an unnecessary civil war. So those are people who historically have destroyed and tilted power to a certain region, rather than make power and justice balance. It's one region over another, and this problem started in July 1966 precisely, and up to today the country has not recovered because one region takes advantage of power, wants to use it. Another region says, well, Emiloko, it's my turn, and the problem continues. And a person who has been putting this into music for us and been shouting this at the top of his voice was Fela Kuti. He's been singing this the whole lot about the atrocities that is Nigeria. And now most of us are reaping the fruit, and we now see where we are as a country. I don't know if any other person has a comment regarding that before we move on, but that's what I want to say.
Yeah, I do have a few comments, so we don't keep people waiting for them to issue their awards. Yeah, I guess some of the this aspect of engaging. I'm no longer on the go, so should be case, but
okay.
So on Muritala, it's role as to the negative side is not clear, except that he did a coup. It's not because it's people, right? Why is because now we don't know for sure his role. But of course, we know Muritala. I mean, one of the name of Muritala Muhammad is the Midwest, right? They gave him a nickname called Monty of the Midwest. The reason why they gave him that name was his role during the Biafra struggle. He was the one that led a rapid squad, pushing for West in the war, and that was how they gave him that name. But it's quite like the obvious role, apart from his role in Congo. He was at the war, he stood by the UN at the war during the Congolese, war and all of that before he came back to Nigeria. And what else would we, other than he took over power from Gowon? Why did he take over power from Gowon? If we start from there, Muritala clearly said the reason why he took power was they expected Gowon, within the space of years to hand over power to civilians, and they waited for Gowon wouldn't release civilians. And what did Muritala said? And they felt they needed to take over power from. And when he took over power, he kept mentioning and started restructuring. He restructuring, looking into the civil service and all of this, started changing leaders, kept pushing for democratic system. And before you know it, they took over. I mean, he was assassinated. And after he was assassinated, who did they bring on board after he was assassinated? They brought, of course, Baba Yabo, Obasanjo came on board. Oh, how did he come on board? And what happened? What transpired? But the same Obasanjo also was of those that went on to assassinate most of our Biafran brothers, in the struggle. And so I kind of because I cannot directly pinpoint, a major issue with Muhammad. I think it's quite agreeable, and I'm just giving room to focus more on those well documented, not the ones who will go back and forth and say, no, this happened, no, that happened. Just like you said, the Apuri Accord, till this very day, Gowon is here to tell us why he disagreed. And nobody has that on record. We will only keep speculating. And this man he may die anything, and nobody would ever know that. Nobody would ever know if Muritala was involved, if Obasanjo was involved. Of course, we know the militaries will be involved. And also on this aspect of Aguin Rossi, if you look at it, my host, is that even of course there's a link to others. It's also like, okay, you got Nzegu arrested. After you got Nzegu arrested, what? I mean, people expected that he should sentence them to death for doing that, but he didn't. And that was what the Northern perceived that, oh, this is an Igbo thing immediately, right? But that's all that we know so far. We don't pretty know so much that we can hold. And that is why we only added them in the line of conversation, but we could not issue them an award because they don't direct qualify For of course they may interact about that. The fact that they are military and they participated in this coup, no doubt of that. But we are looking out for those directly we are involved in all of this atrocity before our country and led our country to where it is today. I hope that is clear. It's not because, of course, they are qualified to get the award, but some of us feel that still some kind of doubt here and there because we do not know all of the story up now. That's the reason. I hope I made myself clear.
Yes, yes. So who's going next and which category are we going to next?
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade OIH, for that fantastic highlights of the category number 1, which are our history. And of course, the next category would be Engineer OJ. Engineer OJ, I saw he's no longer at the speaker section. He'll be taking the next category number 2 of the award that speaks of animal farm, animal in human skin category. And let me check if Engineer OJ is still very much connected with us. Engineer OJ, are you there? Engineer OJ, with us, please receive the microphone if you have disconnected with us. I might have to cover up for that category. Okay, Engineer OJ is with us now. Engineer OJ, are you here?
Okay, Engineer, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Let's have you anchor the next category.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible, sir. Are we audible to you?
Okay.
Engineer Hoja, are you there?
He might be having some technical problem.
Okay. Well.
He said he was asking if we can hear him, and then he went off again.
Oh yeah. If you wouldn't mind, because there's a chronological order with this award, and we would not want our audience to dodge you. Or perhaps can we move to the next category? And we'll get back to NG. Or should I just move on to cover up for him? Because this category speaks about the likes of General Ibrahim Babangida, Sani Abacha, Olusegun Obasanjo, the likes of Adams Oshiomhole, Rochas Okorocha, Godwin Akpabio, and of course Nasir El-Rufai. So there are awards attached to all of these iconic, some iconic individuals in our history. So I will have to ask the host whether or not we should move ahead, or I should basically.
We can move ahead and we'll let him get his technical issues. Now, you know, when you're using the phone, the call could be coming in and then you off trader. So that might be the main.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah. We can hear you. He's trying to get on. We can hear you. Did you go on, Engineer OJ?
Can we consider Adegi or any of the other, whilst we wait for engineer, we can just consider another person.
I agree. Yes.
And, is supposed to take the next category of these religious zealots. That is the category, the next category that we'll take after the category number 2. But let's move on to these religious zealots that will be anchored by the African Wala. Are you us?
Yes.
All right, please take it away, sir.
Thank you. Just one quick second. Can you hear me?
You are audible. Okay. I would like to confirm from the host whether or not you are audible from me.
Yeah. I can hear you guys clearly, and it's all the audio is coming out very good.
All right.
Very. If he needs me to add him on visual, I can. If he needs that, I can. But if he doesn't, that's okay. You can just go ahead with the voice.
All right. Okay. Please
very much. It's a very to be able to present these awards to zealots in our society based on their contribution to the situation ourselves in today. It shouldn't be a secret. Religion is one of our biggest problems in Nigeria and in sub-Saharan Africa as a whole, because it may focus on what we're not to focus on and chasing those. If God has given us the brains and the capacity to build for ourselves, but we are still expecting God to what we are responsible for, create a society like what we have today. And it's unfortunate. But that's why it's important we speak about how religion and the main influencer cycle have contributed to what we have today. So I'm starting with the first award. It goes to the Christian Bishop David Oyedepo. The award is the Prosperity Gospel Empire Award. Now, Oyedepo is known for building one of Africa's most formidable religious center on prosperity theology, where faith is measured in square footage and tight receipts. His sermon blends spiritual fervor with economic ambition, shaping a generation of believers who equate divine favor with financial success. That's why Oyedepo has to be given the award. Once again, it is the Prosperity Empire Award. The second goes to Pastor Paul Eneche, and the name of the award is Dominion Over Poverty Award. Paul Eneche is known to speak with a voice that thunder, and he has a pulpit presence. He preaches theology with the intensity, battlefield general. His as war prize. Sorry,
I think he's trying to connect this audio with the live stream. Please, you can mute, let the audio only speak.
Okay, so I did.
Feedback.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about
the microphone.
Yeah, I just did. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Please proceed. The African one.
No problem. So, speaking about the second award, the Dominion Over Poverty, goes to Pastor Paul Eneche. It's basically because this guy has the aura to move and shake Nigerians. He makes them believe that they will overcome poverty by praying fervently, not necessarily taking action, but they can overcome poverty by praying, fasting, fervently. His messages are spiritual war cries against poverty, sin, and national decay. It's often delivered with a flair and uncompromising moral judgment. But if we think about it, God has given us the brains to do for ourselves. God did not come down from heaven to build houses for us. We had to go into the woods to wood, plastic. We created these materials, used them to create houses for ourselves as humans. If all what we did was to be praying and fasting because that is the way to please God, then we would all be homeless. Also, if you think about it, an unfortunate accident that happened yesterday, people are beginning to thank God for sparing the life of celebrities. Yes, it's good to thank God for sparing his life. But at the same time, the other people that died, are we going to say that it wasn't an incident? For example, if those vehicles, such as an 18-wheeler, a large trailer truck, is parked on the side of the road, there should be measures to prevent collision by other vehicles. It should be clearly marked. If the truck was broken down, it should have maybe a caution sign. It should be properly cordoned off to make sure that there is safety on the road. And this is supposed to be the job of the road safety. But did the road safety implement that? So the accident was definitely caused by human error. So we don't need to bring God into that situation. And it's our responsibility as human beings to start taking accountability for the mess of societies. The third award goes to another Christian charlatan, Pastor. Salvation Army Jet Award. This award goes to Pastor David Ibiyeomi. Ibiyeomi gets the award once again. It's called the Salvation Army Jet Award. He is known for his outspoken declaration and unapologetic stance on curses, salvation, and moral purity. Ibiyeomi blends spiritual authority with material symbolism. His ministry is bold, confrontational, and it's often rap serious, jet-setting preacher with a firebrand tongue. And if you notice one thing that is common among guys, they are the best in enjoying life while they continue to live in societies that are and horrible without any basic amenities for the regular people. But these pastors, they are also entrepreneurs because they've understood how to milk the mindset of the people. They understand that the hopelessness that has been created in our society has made people thoughtless. People are unable to think for themselves, and they are looking for. And these pastorpreneurs have forged an industry to take advantage of the mental weakness of people while they continue to enrich themselves, and the people remain perpetually poor. The fourth award goes to Apostle Johnson. The award is the Apostle of Controversy Award. I mean, we all know about Suleiman. He's always in different controversies. Every year, there is one controversy or the other. But somehow, his workers, I have to call you his workers if you are one of his followers. His workers continue to believe and they continue to defend anything that he does. He is a master of prophetic drama and miracle marketing. Suleiman thrives in the spotlight of spiritual spectacle. His bold predictions, miracle claims, and public feuds have earned him both fierce loyalty and sharp criticism, making him one of Nigeria's most polarizing religious figures. But most importantly, he has the capacity to continue to control his followers because they have been rendered hopeless by the society, and they are looking for a miraculous solution. But the truth is, the only solution to the problems, us, the people, holding our destiny in our hands, and need to stop believing in people that are living in opulence while we are living in poverty, telling us what to do. We also deserve decent lives. And it's not going to be done by magical preachings or predictions or prophecies. How come these guys have not been able to prophesy Nigeria will be at the bottom of the world by December 2025? In fact, if you say something like that around these people, they are going to be angry at you. Their workers or followers are also going to defend them. They are going to say stuff like, why are you having negative talk about Nigeria? There is power of life and death in the tongue. Don't say negative things about Nigeria. But the truth is, if you don't tell the truth, then you're just delusional. And if you want to keep on lying to yourself about your situation, then you are adding to your own suffering. And we can clearly see that the followers of these charlatans, they are part of the 75% of Nigerians living in multi-dimensional poverty. Let me go to the fifth award because I have a few more guys to cover and I know there are so many speakers waiting to talk. So I'm just going to run through the remaining awards. This is second to the last category in the Christian side. We have Pastor William Kumuyi. His award is the Holiness Hypocrisy Enabler Award. Pastor Kumuyi's award is the Holiness Hypocrisy Enabler Award. A pioneer of conservative holiness. Talking about don't watch TV, don't use earrings, all ladies have to wear wrappers all the time, don't wear pants, don't use earrings, don't watch TV. Fast forward 2025. Oh, you can watch TV, you know. In fact, let's start streaming on YouTube because that is the best way for us to generate more revenue and reach more people. Is that not hypocrisy? He's always talking about dress codes. Oh, you have to dress a certain way. You have to be separate from worldly influences and moral purity, which is good. We should uphold ourselves as individuals in a moral stance. We should, as much as possible, be and not be horrible human beings. But if these guys telling us to do these things are not morally upright themselves, clearly from the evidence, then what are we doing here? Why do we give them so much power? The more we pray, have you guys noticed that the more we pray as a country, the more prayerful we pretend to be, the more we get deeper into poverty, the more the insecurity increases in the country. So a disconnect going on here. Finally, actually, I have two more guys on the Christian side. One guy is Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo. His award is the Kingsway Wealth Builder Award. A charismatic preacher with a British accent and a Nigerian hustle who built his brand on financial breakthrough theology. His teachings promise wealth through faith, tithing, strategic giving, turning Kingsway International into a spiritual investment firm for the hopeful and the ambitious. And that's how they make their money. And finally, Pastor E.A. Adeboye. He gets the award of the Quiet Influence Architect Award. Adeboye is one of the most popular and influential religious figures. He has shaped national culture through a calm preachings, sermons encourage obedience, order, and spiritual discipline. He has created one of the most stable, loyal followings in Nigerian Christianity. And his church is the largest exportation out of Nigeria outside of crude oil. If you go to every nook and the western world, you will find the redeemed. Is an institution that claims more Christian-like, more Christ-like opinion. It's for you to embody some of the characteristics that make sense to human being. I definitely agree. However, when you pray the same prayer here and things get worse, then there is a problem. We need to start thinking for ourselves. If Adeboye came to us in 2006 and boldly told us that, listen, by the decree, spirit, by the power, I command the naira to stabilize and be equal to the dollar. I command the naira to be more powerful than the dollar in 2006. Fast forward 2025, naira completely crashed. And then it comes around in 2023. I traveled all the way to Colorado. When I was in Colorado, it was in the middle of winter. I told my God, please, I don't like cold and I'm so special. There are millions of people in Colorado, but I'm so special and I don't like cold. God sees that cold for me. So I get to Colorado for 3 days. All the snow disappears and it becomes summer. Immediately I left Colorado. I jump in the airplane. Snow starts and the congregation says, "Amen. Thank you, Daddy." Do you not see that that's really disgraceful? If other people around the world see that we have extremely low IQs, we need to stop disgracing ourselves. We need to tell the guy, Adeboye, I have a name for him, and you guys are going to find it offensive.
I thought the point of the award is for us to be offensive.
Absolutely. So,
The pastorpreneur Iroboye, he also commanded the army of Nigeria to stabilize. That never happened. Nigeria's economy tanked. It's like every time this guy comes out with a preaching, the opposite happens. Every prophecy, the opposite happens every single time. But somehow, you'll find Nigerians, even the ones that have traveled abroad, better lives, they still cheer for these charlatans, and I just don't get it. It's because many people, deep their hearts, they are not truthful. They're wicked. But let's go to the Muslim side, because it's not only the Christians that will get this work. In Nigeria, we are such a religious country, but we are the capital of the world. We are such a prayerful country, but if you draw a map, a graph, on the x-axis, years, you can plot it from 1980, 1960 to 2005 on the x-axis. On the y-axis, it's numbers, number of people living in percentage of people living in poverty. Do you know that the graph is going on an upward trajectory? It's like the more our population increases, the more people live in poverty. Who do us like this? Now, who swear for us like this? Yet, we are the most prayerful country. You go to some streets, you find 5 churches, 6 mosques on one street, in one building, a 3-story building. There are like 6 churches in a 3-story building. People are praying from Monday to Sunday. They wake up in the morning, they start praying, they start noise. Then they don't go to work, obviously, because you're praying on a Monday morning. You're not productive. because all you're doing is praying. And while you're praying, the economic insecurity continues to increase and the country continues to be charlatan Iroboye. We saw how he tested against Goodluck Jonathan, which was because Jonathan was a corrupt moment. After Jonathan's situation, you stayed mute and you encourage your people to stay mute. That's why when we call people to come out for, they would rather go to your church. They would rather go to church and pray instead of going barricades, because that is the only hope that we have. The only hope that we have is to chase out these criminals that are in political authority, and we have to destroy the system that makes it possible for only to get to the helm of affairs. That is the only solution to Nigeria, in my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. Let's go to the Muslim side. Number one, the Controversial Mediator Award. Technically, the Terrorist Mediator Award. It goes to a notorious Muslim Shumi for his outspoken involvement in national security debates and his highly publicized attempts to engage terrorists in dialogue. One of the most debated religious voices in northern Nigeria. How can a man that calls for you to live with your killers, it says, oh, you have to live with your killers, okay? That's the only option that you have. You have to live with your killers, then you're going to be good. Does that make any sense to anybody? But somehow, these guys, free men, walk around, really, they even get escorted by police and military. They drive around in convoys. They're millionaires, obviously, because cannot even have the resources around with security to be granting press interviews. You can't do that. But these multi-millionaires that are charlatans in religious garments, they have all what it takes to move around and spread nonsense. And somehow he has millions of followers. It's unfortunate, but that is the reality of Nigeria. The second goes to Sharia Vanguard Legacy Award, also known as the Child Bride Defender Award. Child Bride Defender Award goes to Ahmed Yerima. Ahmed Yerima is known for pioneering the implementation of law in Zamfara and sparking decades of legal and religious debates nationwide. He also publicly defended early marriage. So you can, according to Yerima, based on religious interpretation. And that obviously sparked national controversy. But let's even take a quick counting of what has been going on since 1999 or 2000. It have been implemented in the year 2000, 2001. Selfish move. To the people that live in the Sharia zones, let's ask ourselves questions. Between 1999 and 2025, how has that implementation of Sharia benefited your lives? I know some of you are going to defend it. I understand the psychology of some of you guys. You might be living in abject poverty. You might literally be running away from bandits and criminals, terrorists that are trying to kill you. Why wait? You are running for your life like this. You're running from bandits and terrorists. You get into a safe spot in the bush with your family while running. Escape. You're in the safe spot. It's a temporary. I were to meet you at that safe temporarily in and ask you that, bro, man, how has Sharia benefited you since 1990 to 2025? I bet you many of you are going to be like, Sharia is so good. It's such a great implementation in our environment. But look at you, you're running away, you're in the bush. You've become home. After the Sharia was implemented, it got worse. Poverty got worse. Hopelessness got worse. And yet we have Ganduje on camera. He was caught taking bribes. You guys did not cut off his hands. No, because your Sharia only works on your poor people. You never cut off Ganduje's hands. Why didn't you cut off Yahya Bello's hands? All your political criminals. But you won't do that. All you will do is cut off the hands of your fellow poor people. And it's unfortunate. So I'm going to wrap up this segment by saying Nigerians, African people, and people around the world do not fall victim to religious indoctrination. It's good for you to be religious, but you at the same time. Nobody is saying that you shouldn't be religious, but if your religion is going to be detrimental to the rest of us, then we don't want it. After all, we're in one of the most religious countries in the world, Nigeria. We also double as one of the worst of the world. And that is my submission. Thank you so much for this great opportunity. And I hope I have passed the message to one person. I appreciate you, Movement Radio hosts. Thank you.
Yes. So who's the next? Is Engineer OJ here to give us the next line, or someone else is ready to go?
Engineer OJ, are you there? Engineer OJ, are you still connected with us, sir?
Yeah, he's on, but we're not hearing from him. Who's next? Liberation.
The next category would be anchored by Adeike, and of course that category deals with just 1 minute. Category number 4, obvious thieves and criminal category. The obvious thieves and criminal category, anchored by Comrade Adeike. Please take it away. Please be as brief as you can, because like I play, we don't spend 1 hour 30 minutes already now. So
okay, I'll do my best to run through everything.
Thank you so much.
I was hoping that Nigeria OJ will go before me, because I heard he was going to speak on some chronological tips. And it was,
Can you hear me?
I'm going to usher in. You have to wait. I've already started. Hold on. My own criminals. Nevertheless, there's no. We don't have to call the criminals as long as we call them out.
That's right.
That's the most important thing. So I will start by when I was told that I will have the opportunity to speak on this, by the host, by Liberation Chat, Proxy the host. I was very excited, to be able to at least put a nail on the head. When we discuss about this elite, about these people who are not in our class, of the working class people, the thieves, people we usually don't have the opportunity to name and list their put out their exploits out there. But there's always one to be among the gathering of the brothers when we do all this missionary work. I'll start by team number 1, Sonny Abacha. He is receiving the Loot Master Award. The Loot Master Award. Sonny Abacha from 1993 to 1998 did not merely steal from Nigeria. He re-engineered the state to steal self for his own benefit. Under his rule, extracted directly from the central bank. Under the supervision of our so-called intelligence, they moved it abroad. And this man is so significant because he's the only one that we know so far whose theft has outlived his lifetime. The money that he stole from Nigeria is still being recovered till date. He elevated looting from crime, from mercy. He enshrined it in the unspoken of Nigerian politics. You know, he's the one that let all Nigerian politicians that if you enter into a political office, that you are not a Nigerian politician. It is part of their fundamental politician rights. You know, the proof that but he is also that dictatorship can end. The proceeds of the dictatorship can still, you know, exist afterwards. I remember I was talking to someone who was in his era, and he said he was listening on the news, and when he heard Abacha was there, he could not believe it. Because in his eyes, Abacha seemed to be a mortal human being. That is how terrible this man was. That's how much fear this man put in the heart. So he receives the Loot Master Award. I'll proceed to number 2, which is James Ibori. He will be receiving the Convicted but Rewarded Award. James Ibori's legacy is not just corruption, it is comparative justice. It was in Nigeria, stealing money. Nigeria failed repeatedly to convict him. But when he took a step to the United Kingdoms, you know, UK took the matter up, and he was convicted on 10 counts of fraud and money laundering. He was governor of Delta State between 1999 to 2007. He was sentenced to 13 years imprisonment, over 250 pounds traced that he stole from Nigeria. You know, his highlights, he had big highlights in the system. And number 3 would be Joshua Daria. He will be receiving the Prison Graduate Award. Joshua is an interesting Nigeria anomaly. You know, a powerful politician who actually went to prison. He was convicted after years of legal delays. The sentence suggested for accountability, but after some time, he had to gain some presidential pardon when he's in power. You know, his case reminds that it's just provisional when power is familiar. He was governor of the state from 1999 to 2007. Convicted for criminal breach of trust. He was sentenced for 14 years imprisonment. He was granted presidential pardon in 2002. I'll move to number 4, which is Jolly Nyame, Treasury Raider Award. He was in government Taraba during a period where, you know, underdevelopment was high. While billions were sent to the state account to be used for development of infrastructure, our senior man here, our hacking leader, Jolly Nyame, could not resist the urge to steal the funds. But he was convicted for diverting 1 naira. He was sentenced to 14 years imprisonment. And again, you know, after you maybe 1 or 2 years, they give you presidential pardon without even retrieving the money you have stolen. You know, it's they operate. So that when person who brings you out to the farm, I'm going to bring you out, where's my give me some cut, and then, you know, things go on as usual. Number 5 is Orji Uzor Kalu. We'll call him the sexy F. He was convicted and sentenced to 12 years for fraud. His conviction was quashed by the Supreme Court on technical grounds. Bracket. They changed the judge when the time was up. Billions of naira were involved. Much of the most of the money was not got. Or rather, after his first tenure of failure, he was asked, "What do you have to say about your son's first tenure?" And the man said, "Again to repeat his gubernatorial figure, Mr. Alamesia, will give him a man-woman Very interesting figure. He was arrested abroad for money laundering. He escaped as a woman in Nigeria. He was convicted, but he was later pardoned. Very interesting individual. He is now a well-respected chieftain in the political scene in Nigeria. What a shame. Number 8 is Rochas Okorocha. We call him the Statue Builder Award, or we'll award him the Statue Builders Award. Spent his entire time of building statues all down in Imo State. From 2011 to 2019, he was the governor of Imo State. Between 2022 and 2024, EFCC investigated him over alleged 2.9 billion diversion of state money. The case is still ongoing. They've seized a lot of assets, but true justice has not been served. The Nigerian people in Imo State have still not been able to prevail over one man that they elected and the mandate for their future, but he chose for his own pocket. The mine will be Abdul Fattah Ahmed. We'll give him the Harmony Flop Award. 2011 to 2019, he was the governor of Kwara State. He was arraigned for over 10 billion naira when you beg for and bail out force mismanagement. His trial is still ongoing. Justice has still not been. Then is our very own youth governor himself, a man that proved to us that corruption is not just amongst the people that ruled in the 1900s. It is still among those who call themselves young and evil. Yaya Bello will be awarding him my Must Go to School award. He was the governor of Kogi State 2016 to 2024. He is currently declared wanted by EFCC for allegedly million naira money laundering. And that's just one amongst all the ones that he has stolen. Today I saw that he wants to run for the senatorial seat of Kogi Central. It's a shame. I wish that OJ had gone first before me, because highlighted all the military thieves. And one would assume that the thieves in Nigeria are only the military people. When you move to a democratic system, you realize that even the civilians are as terrible as the military juntas. I tried my best to put together the amount that was stolen from all these individuals that I've listed so far. If we put it at a very base level, they stole 5 trillion naira. If we put it at a high level, it's about 8 trillion naira. Vis-a-vis, you are looking at the current exchange rate. If you put side by side with the current Nigeria budget, that's about 10.8% of the 2025 Nigerian budget, or 14% on the high side of the 2025 Nigerian budget. And these are things that could have been used for primary healthcare infrastructure, basic education infrastructure, national water and sanitation, infrastructure, electrical power delivery, transport and logistics. However, some taking it upon themselves to steal this money for themselves and for their lineage only. It's a shame that these men are still allowed to work in Nigeria. It's a shame that while these men are able to build houses and live their best lives, the common man in Nigeria cannot afford 3 square meals. If you know or you have the contacts of their children, their wives, their girlfriends, please, their award plaque has been uploaded on the job. You can forward it to them to deliver it to the owners of the award. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, that was quite a lot. If all this money that are stolen are actually used for infrastructure, a lot of lives would have been saved. And that's that. The funny thing is that Nigerians generally, they don't connect the stolen money to the plight they are going through, and that's the part that always shocks me. I don't know if it shocks any other person. If you're having a conversation with them, they're busy talking about the problem. Oh, we don't have road, we don't have electricity, but we don't have security. But not one person would just connect this stolen money to why they don't have what they should have. it always amazes me. But who's the next person? This is very revealing. You guys really did an in-depth research job into this. Who's next? Who's next? Oh, my brother.
Yes, it should be Engineer OJ, but Engineer OJ is still not connected with us.
What Engineer OJ is doing? He's doing Egunla Keringbale. The big masquerade shall go last. Anyway, who's next? Before
The next person should be Africa in the Box, anchoring corruption business or corrupt business owners and institutions. Africa in the Box, are you very much connected with us? Or I cannot see Africa in the Box on the speaker section yet. And I thought I saw him briefly. But of course, I can cover for that. Have much time, and of course, we have to get along with this as fast as we can. All right. And the number one on that award, business owners and institutions. Number one is Alhaji Aliko Dangote. Also cornered to himself. He has added to his rank by basically commanding the value chain of our oil and gas by bringing about a refinery, the biggest in the world. And of course, he always throws tantrums regularly whenever a particular monopolistic business is being threatened. He also threw tantrum not quite when he was saying that a particular agency, the downstream and the upstream sector, they are basically selling fuel cheaper and they are making it very hard for him. So, and hence, he had to go and into investigative journalism, an impromptu investigative journalism where he exposed this particular individual that is in charge of the upstream and downstream sector, Farouk Ahmed, actually enrolled his children into a school in Switzerland that is worth over $5 million. So, I leave to all of us, we know the role he's playing in the apocalypse, called a niche for himself to be one of the bad guys in our society. He has carved the niche for himself to be a monopoly across board. Not the cement industry to himself, sugar, and of course the recent one, oil and gas, and even fertilizer. Farmers are at its mercy. Whatever price he gives them is what they will go by. All right, in terms of fertilizer, this man is a big name, and in fact, there are rumors that have it that these guys sponsored, politicians, sponsored their campaign with billions and billions upon billions. Little wonder that whenever these guys get into power, they have a way of giving his business waivers upon waivers. About 2 or 3 years ago, the Buhari administration gave the Dangote company up to the tune of about 13 trillion naira, and they just asked him to not pay the money and use it to build roads. That is less than a few billions. So, individual called Aliko Dangote is quite a it deserves the award of the Monopoly, the Shipoli Award, and of course is a part of the oligarchs in the scheme of things in Nigeria. Moving on to the next one, Commonwealth Award goes to Mike Adenuga for building massive wealth through palm and oil. Allegation of favoritism in license award. So many people would argue that Mike Adenuga played a role in ensuring not to work out, because license is supposed to be owned by the government, and as advocates of nationalizing assets, and telecommunication is one of our major services to the people, and of course we are at the mercy of network providers, all thanks to players like Adenuga. Please, you can disagree with in the comment section if you can, but at least based on able to us, he played a very huge role in maintaining that our telecommunication industry get privatized. And of course, years down the line, Nigerians are indeed at the mercy of telecommunication companies. They basically charge money that when it comes to providing services, internet services, call services. Nigerians, just because of this privatized telecommunication industry, all thanks to players like Adenuga. So, moving on to the third award under this category, Dollar is the third individual, and the award that to him is Power Failure Award. Power Failure Award for investment in energy sector marked by controversies over privatization and chronic time when the power sector was indeed an era of NEPA. But lobbyists, Otedola, actually lobbied for that industry to be private. And as it is now, we are at the mercy of people like Femi Otedola, because he's part of the stakeholders that own our distribution, transmission and generation companies under the power sector. He owned a major company under this particular value chain, and which makes it impossible for Nigerians to afford electricity. Many people they are living. I'm currently running on so many houses are on blackout right now. Speak as a result of lobbyists like me or Tedola, and of course one was that he has also played a huge role in bit of our oil sector as we speak right now. So let's moving on to the next individual. Samad Rabiu, Boa Sugar Award, of course, major stakeholder in that business side of things. Theophilus Danjuma, Oil Block Billionaire Award. We know how the government basically give people and they become overnight billionaires. Basically, when they just give oil license to an absolute charlatan in Nigeria and it becomes billionaire overnight. And people like Theophilus Danjuma are some of the lobbyists that lobby oil block licenses. And of course, the system like Theophilus Danjuma, of course, they have been given roles. These guys are expanding their empire. They are getting bigger, and some of them are even bigger than the government. About cabal, oil sector cabal. People like Theophilus Danjuma that we are giving the award of Oil Block Billionaire Award. But I'm still audible from Twitter. I just received a call. But let me just proceed. Number 6, Nigerian National. I've gotten like 2 calls now. Am I still audible?
Yes, fine.
Am I audible? Okay, I'm still audible. Getting calls repeatedly, and I just need to proceed. So number 6, why is this person calling me? It's a very terrible time to call me. The role that NNPC is playing on Twitter. Twitter, can you hear me? Okay. So this is a very rogue corporation. NNPC is a very rogue corporation. As at now, they are still looking for over 200 trillion naira. When it comes to their auditing, they have to do a very auditing of that sector, all thanks to behemoths and principalities in that particular corporation. It's a very corrupt sector, and of course, for decades, for opacity, missing billions, and failure to remit revenues properly. NNPC has failed in this regard, and of course, it's part of the criminal element in the Nigerian scheme of things. Of course, let's award Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The award to them is Naira Devaluation Expert Award. Naira Devaluation Expert Award. And you can trace this all the way back to decades upon decades ago. For policies enabling current manipulation, question interventions, and elite access. We have this, you must have heard rumors that CBN, gives different rates to people. You just walk up to CBN and they will give you dollar rate, in a very juicy rate that you can basically become yes if you know the right person at CBN. Is also very much still going on. And talking about policy that is crippling the economy and gives leverage to all of these commercial banks and giving them the free hand to basically exploit Nigerians. Banks are given the free hand to I have gotten multiple SMSs and notifications from my commercial bank. For one transaction or the other, I had no idea. Just because these guys to rake in revenue, and they have to make they have to make their money one way or the other. And has given them the free hand to do so. So they are given the Central Bank of Nigeria the Naira Experts Award, and we can see how tissue paper. If anybody $100 today, that translates to about 150,000 naira, and by 3 days time, that amounts nothing, because if you look at the purchasing power of Nigerians, just one single commodity rake off that a huge chunk of money from the hands of Nigerians, and you can imagine that is doing, just one piece of paper, just one denomination, it's over 100,000 of our own money. Yeah, it's terrible, and it is all thanks to Central Bank of Nigeria as the Apex Bank monitoring policy. Let's move to the last part. The last in the award is Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, because we are looking at the corruption business owners and institutions board, and on the list CC Economic and Crimes Commission, and the award that goes to them is Select Prosecution Award. Selective Prosecution Award for targeting political high-profile allies often escape full accountability. Usually we call them, I usually refer to them as blind eagle and toothless dogs. And if you look at how they are treating this Malami case now, it tells you all that you know. It tells you all that you need to know this policy called EFCC, and they have played a huge role. Nigeria has become over the years. In the Hall of Shame 2025, they are featured very prominently in the award. So these are nominees from my side of things. When it comes to my category of owners and institutions, and that takes us, of course, to the sixth category, constitutional rulers. And the person that should take it is Comrade Shiwa Ilara, and it's unfortunately not at the speaker section, and it's not even on the space. I sent him, in fact, he's tuned into the space after I sent him the link. I sent him the link to the space. I also sent him the link to the restream. I don't know perhaps why he's not here this category, but we will get it rolling. The next, that compromised traditional misrulers, that is the next category. But I would like to check host if he would like to say it on the previous category that I just finished.
Yeah,
is the corrupt business owners and institution that featured Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Theophilus Danjuma, NNPC, CBN, and of course ELN host.
yes, I was thinking about that. Nigerians, they love their slave masters. Some Nigerian educated Nigerians would argue that, well, they're just businessmen. They have with governance or the running of the country. So why blame them? The hardship that befalls the nation. You do a connection between the business or the way they run their business, the pains and sufferings of the people.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a huge connection with the manner with which they run their business, because characters like Dangote, for instance, now have a way of the resources of the people to himself by obtaining licenses. We obtain license to have access to our limestone, a major resource of the people, because the resources should be,
yes.
But characters like this have cornered resources to themselves, and they even sell it exorbitant prices to the people of which you extract the resources from. I'll give a very classical example of the cement. Cement is currently sold, right? And if you are to look at the amount it is being sold, the same cement in South Africa, bear in mind, South African currency is far above our own, but it is far in South Africa it is to buy cement based on the price. Because if you look at the prices, the prices are about 89 rands, South African money, and if you convert that to naira, it is still less than 10,000 naira. So have access to a lower price. Nigerians, that we have the raw materials, we have the like Dangote have access, but they have, he has a way of selling to us in a very more higher prices. Even in Ghana, they buy Dangote cement at lesser price than Nigerians. So these guys have played a huge role in bringing suffering to their businesses. As they run their businesses, they're at the dead end or at the expense of the people. And factories, you need to see how Nigerians suffer. This is just more than, look at how much these guys pay, the workers that do the real job in their factories. They pay them peanuts, basically, less than minimum wage, and they expect them to give maximum, in terms of providing their effort and services to the company. So it's basically becoming billionaires on the sweat and blood of Nigerian people. And if you look at how much damage that their companies is giving the people, the number of killed truck has killed Nigerians alone, and there's no compensation, no penalty, absolutely nothing. It's basically with unaliving Nigerians on an industrial scale, while on the factory and off the trucks, unaliving Nigerians without compensation. And it's all thanks to the Nigerian system as enabled have free hand basically to do whatever it likes, just because he's a billionaire and is a pet of the system. So and they make him thrive at the expense of the people.
It's so sad. So sad. No regulation, and that's why people don't know. Nigerians elite like to argue a lot. In America too, you have lobbies, the sponsor politicians, but I don't think they are held accountable in any form or way. And there's a sense of, even in developed world, they try to prevent monopolization of one specific industry against the entire country, or an industry being stronger than the state. But Nigerians just don't get it. They would still defend people and say, well, it's happening in other places. Don't blame them, don't do this. And that's why we are where. Do you know who the next person is? We're moving good. That's good award. That's nice. Do you know who's next and what we're covering next? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I did not unmute. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
So the next should be compromise traditional misrulers. Compromise traditional misruler. That is the next category. That is category number 6. We have 10 categories in category number 6. Compromise is supposed to be anchored by Shewa Ilara, but he's not here. But I'll quickly breeze through it within just 5 minutes.
Okay.
Just to keep it rolling because of our time. Traditional rulers also is number 1 on the list, and the award that is given to them is Silent Elite Award. Silent Elite Award goes to Traditional Rulers Council for active inactions on insecurity, corruption, and poverty ravaging their domains while in patronage. A classic example of, you can see our obas, our rulers, who should constitute the voice of, there should be the voice of the people, because they live in the grassroots. These are the guys that see, the pains and sufferings of the people. But these people, this council, they have remained silent. All right, they have not been able to speak up, be a voice for their people, essentially. So that is of Silent Elite Award. That is the Traditional Rulers Council. That is number 1. Number 2 on the list is of Lagos. Of course, the Awardment Controversy Award for perceived partisan involvement in elections and threats against non-indigenous communities. We knew that the role that the Oba of Lagos played in the last election, when some candidates, Eko is not for a particular, the Igbo people should leave Lagos alone. They should leave the Lagos politics alone, coming from a traditional ruler. So moving on to the next, award under this category of compromised traditional misrulers, we have some emirs here, Emir of Kano, we have Sultan of Sokoto. Of course, of those people belong in traditional council. They are in that kind of literally. And of course, prominently featured here is Oni of Ife. I want to really call out this man. The award given to him here is Royal Jet Setter Award. Royal Jet Setter Award for high-profile global engagement, luxury lifestyle, and to political leaders, while Ife faces developmental challenges. This is a Rolls-Royce king that owns a Rolls-Royce, in a country where people are basically hungry. You know how much Rolls-Royce is? This is a thing that, Basque Ziri, he basically enjoys ultra luxury, and his community following in abject poverty, and these are the sort of kings that we have in Nigeria. Kings that are sensitive to the needs and the ordeal their people. And Oni of Ife is also known as the life of the party. If you want to do party in Oni of Ife, you will attend. Basically, ruined that prestigious office. And this should be a sacred office that you don't usually, we should not be seen all around in parties, all around, just because they want to give you, appearance fee of thousands of dollars. And we know how these things play out. These things have leaked. And whenever you want to grace your occasion and you have few dollars and give, like $10,000, $15,000, you can basically on your people, and he would grace that. So he has monetized that particular sacred throne, all right? And he's doing this. If you look at his locality in Ile-Ife, see poverty is real form, and you have this kind of king, riding Rolls Royce, living in luxury, and any sensitivity about the plight of people. So you also have. Hold on. Before you go on, I also hear that if you want to marry a wife, would you like to comment, sir? Yeah. I hear that if you want to marry a wife, he's the best person for you to ask. Absolutely. He also is a very controversial person when it comes. Many of his queens have divorced him. So he's very, very controversial in across board. Are you done? I wanted to ask you or anybody in the panel is going forward in the historically the traditional rulers their mind since their power have been taken away into the state, so they have to compromise in a way because they have to survive just based on whoever is in government. Remember, everybody stand up to all the king concept that he was playing. So in future, is there going to be for traditional rulers if we are able to get that country together? Well, what role should that be, and what constitutional relevance should they have? As at now, they still have some level of constitutional relevance. There is such a thing that they have. That law is basically the traditional rulers, basically. But they can do more if they can organize themselves. They can actually demand for this whole relegation of the traditional office to even on their own man. That is how they have relegated them to now. So, but if they can actually basically constitute a pushback, to this whole orchestrated towards that office, because traditional office, they are basically the vintage. They are the basics. They are the starting point. And they should be respected. That disrespect to relegate them, they should putting them under a local government chairman, and that even a local government chairman can remove an ONI and can basically give whoever he wants. Absolute disrespect. But it's because themselves they are compromised, and just because they are what they will need to benefit from being subservient. They just go to and just roll with the flow of what them has thrown at them. Traditional institutions should be a sacred office that be respected deeply. But it's unfortunate how, as a result of their docility, and they have just basically allowed it to happen like that. And and of course, we see the. Yeah. Well, that's good. So, what's our next category? Are we getting close? Yes, we are getting close. That's 7. Political jobbers. Political jobbers category, and I'll take that also is not here at the moment. It's not connected with us. Okay. We have a lot of technical issues today, but of course we would we'll breeze through the whole thing and expect a rerun. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Next edition will be more robust. Yes, more robust than this. So this award, number 1, we have number one, Reno or Mockery. Reno or Mockery. That is number one political jobbers award, and the award given to him is Biblical Code Attack Dog Award. Fierce online defender or critics of vision, often deploying scriptural slays attack on opponents while providing books and personal brand. We see how this advocacy of Reno Mockery earned him an ambassadorial role under Tinubu's, and this is supposed to be a big person, but because of the role that he has played in bending any nonsense that PDP that Tinubu, he has been doing DDP anyway. He actually served under Goodluck Jonathan as one of the spokespersons of Goodluck Jonathan. So he knew this job very well to defend the indefensible. And of course, when Tinubu emerged, even before Tinubu emerged, he was serving the role of political jobber, of PDP, by a drug lord. He basically staged a protest against Tinubu, and the records are still there. But right now, he has basically shifted goalpost, and is now with Emilio. He's siding with the Eminoko government. He was given this award, this nomination, or perhaps now of being an ambassador. He had been genuflecting. He has been defending policy or any actions of this current government. He is prominently featured in the Hall of Shame Award under the category of political jobbers in 2025 on this show. So Reno Mockery is number one. Number two, Kemi Olu, lawyer, controversial investigator. He's self-styled journalist for explosive, unfair arrest and shifting to odd takes that generate vital outrage and Kemi Olu, lawyer, is a controversial individual, and of course to a large extent because she has history with the state politics. She is of a former governor of Oyo, Olu lawyer, and of course since that time he has been playing this role of defending the establishment, perhaps whipping out controversial speaks and takes and political permutations that basically found the flame of maintaining the current hegemony, basically. And he has even been arrested, quite a number of times by political opponents. She has been released, and of course, she is no longer in the country. We understand that she is now in Canada as we speak, and she said she has retired from anything that has to do with politics or what she has been known to do best. She said she has retired. So moving on to the individual, Dr. Damages, satirical roaster master award on YouTube of mixing comedy, political analysis, and often accused of bias, the target and funding whispers. Of course, reservations about Dr. Damages. He has a way of building grounds, depending on whatever suits his narrative program. And many people have complained about his bias, towards certain political characters. So Dr. Damages is featured satirically in this award. And of course, the next individual would be Femi Fani-Kayode, which also is very, very concerned. The fact that you can see his footprint. He served as a minister under PDP administration, and of course he has defected to APC and is now very much featured in the government. I think he has now given an ambassadorial role under the Tinubu administration. So this is a very controversial thing that he has once been capped on TV calling a journalist stupid. That he has also said that he has a very short fuse, and of course, these are the characters that permeates the Nigerian landscape. So, and this is quite embarrassing. And of course,
the likes of Omokri, Fani Kayode, and the damage are all the. Are they moderate, or they just political jobbers for the public body that can pay the bill kind of mentality, or are their ideologies any government in power? What would you find responsible? Because you would think that elites like that will be at the championing the people's knowledge towards a better society, and preference for a more moral and positive position rather than to swinging like a John Grover up and down. How would you sense that, or is that's just a Nigerian element in us? Period.
Well, I would categorize them in any government. We have seen how they have shifted basically. Financial Day is a classic example now. He's a PDP person. He served under PDP government as a minister of aviation, and of course, currently now is basically in the camp of APC. So it's a classic example of government of the day, or anywhere wherever they get it favors or suits their interest, and what we all know what that interest is. Anyway, it's interest that has to do with pocket affairs. So, moving on to the last, I think we have Bayo Nonuga, Media Bulldog Award. He's a veteran journalist turned presidential aide, known for aggressive defense of Tinubu and labeling critics enemies. So Bayo Nonuga is a veteran. He's an editor of repute, but currently is now very much with System of Things, and he has been. Even the current tragedy that befell, popular Nigeria, Anthony Joshua, Bayo Nonuga was in jumping into the ring to defend whatever it is that happened, the systemic failure.
What happened to the likes of Bayon? Don't they used to be strong critics back in the days? And I'm surprised Abati did not make your list. What happened to them? In the days of Guardian, don't they used to write critics? Okay, very strong critics when we were younger. I don't know, is it as older they lose their senses, or what's going on?
We have so many older ones still maintaining their integrity and are either neutral or on the side of the people. We have old ones like the likes of Femi Falana. He has stayed very consistent, and stayed on the side of the people all the way. But people like Nonuga, he has shifted ground. And the reason why I did not feature Ruben Abati, because currently Ruben Abati do not belong in any political party. And it's a very strong critic current government, including these are strong critics of the current administration.
I always thought Abati gives them soft landing. I might be wrong about that. I always thought Abati gives them soft landing, but I might be wrong about that. You can, but I go with your view, your things than I am. Anyway, go on. Let's not take too much time because our people are getting worried.
On the morning show that Abati is a very head of the show. He grills the interview, but just that it seems to have this touch of maturity to the way the guest compared to the likes of Rufai Hosseini. So, but you have a point there, sir. You have a point. So these are the ones that we are featured in the awards for political jobbers in the Hall of Shame. And of course, move to the next category number 8. Civil societies stroke activist category, which should comrade engineer Sani Engineer Sani should anchor this particular section. Is not in the show. Is not basically in the space.
We're definitely going to have a part 2.
We communicated before, and I made it known that he promised me that he will be here.
It's okay. It means Sani and the others are meaning that we definitely have to have a part 2 too. But let's go on with the ones we have. This is real good. It's long. I didn't know this. The lists were this long. I guess it's not easy to come down. How many hours have we been on here now?
We have been here for 2 hours now. This is 2 hours 25 minutes.
Wow. Are we halfway or almost done, or where are we?
We are more than halfway.
Okay.
We are in the 8th category,
okay.
out of the 10th category.
Out of 10. Okay. Go on.
We can just quickly breeze through them and just give people a glimpse of how about.
Wow.
And of course,
it's good bringing out this category. When this thing is redone, then people can then have their input and then tell us those and those who should be in there also. When we do a second part, or whatever name we call it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and the award is here. Adekunle, are you still very much connected with us? Are you there?
I see him on Twitter, but I don't know if he's here.
Okay. Thank you so much. Just check it to get your thoughts in a jiffy. That's why I'm testing if you are still connected with us. So number 8 category of civil societies and activists category. I'll just quickly breeze through. We have NLC, Nigerian Labour Congress, Protest Fatigue Award. Protest Fatigue Award goes to NLC. Number 2, Academic Staff Union of University, ASU. The award that goes to them, Strike Perpetual Award. Strike Perpetual Award. And of course, we have the likes Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center and Valiant Award. We have individuals like Protest Song Retreat Award, because there was once a time that Two-Face actually initiated a protest that was supposed to challenge the system, but said midway because the system threatened him, and he got afraid and he had to back out, because we are Two-Face musician, because if you look at the number of songs that he has dropped, quite conscious. Like it be like, say they want to another story again. It's a very strong conscious music that went viral and known by the Nigerian people. But of course, at some point, Two-Face actually basically hands off from the people's is being given Song Retreat Award. So moving on to the last section, I'm just quickly breezing through.
Yeah, we know we will have a redo, but that's good. Breeze through, and it's giving me some ideas when we do a review of include. But go on. I'm enjoying this. I hope I'm enjoying it too.
Yeah. I think we have about 6 on Twitter.
Okay.
On video live stream, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, I don't know how many people are on, but of course, Facebook. Here on X, we are about how many? We are about on X. So we've got some level of visibility, but we can do more.
We can do more. Yeah.
We can get better at it. Have the next
the next one. The whole next one will be with visual placards, the whole night.
Yeah.
Go on.
We'll go hard. We'll go full throttle. Yeah. So Save Nigeria Pastor Tunde Bakari is prominently featured under this of activist or civil society category of the Hall of Fame. And we know Pastor Tunde Bakari, a fierce voice, speaks truth to power. But all of a sudden, now we knew the role he played in 2012 at Occupy Nigeria. is a convener of that group. And of course, today he's been given the very sermon because gradually he has basically lost his voice. Gradually. And he's no longer speaking for the people or speaking truth to power. Basically because his party is in power, because this is a party that's based in the primaries of BC by buying the form of APC. The form was sold for 100 million naira primary form, and he bought the form. He participated in that particular primaries. Wow. And many people would say as well, he's basically staying silent because part of the system, and he's basically staying silent of Tinubu, and he's Tinubu's ally, because he was himself and Tinubu that rocked this nation back in occupied Nigeria protest that actually fought against the removal of petrol subsidy, the removal of petrol under the Goodluck Jonathan regime. So here we are today. He is very, very part of the ruling class and of the oppressors, and he has basically lost his voice. So moving on to the number 9, the award.
Hold on, before you go to, you did not include the Nigerian Bar Association. How did they escape?
Yeah, it's true. It is true. It's one of the most notorious union or perhaps association of staying silent. And gone are the days when we have radical lawyers, like Gani Fawehinmi. These are legends in the legal world. They use their profession and their expertise to actually serve the interest of the people. But this current Nigeria Bar Association, they are for any government in power, they rule. They're running government in power. Leadership is quite compromised, and it's written all over their body language and their structure. So they are not putting up any resistance whatsoever against this corrupt system of things.
Don't worry, we'll get them in part 2. Don't worry. We'll even have a big placard for them.
Absolutely.
Go on.
So moving on, pretenders category of the Hall of Shame 2025. We have quite a number of people prominently featured under this category, under the Pretenders Award. And of course, we controversial here, and we leave the audience to actually debate us on this. But we are very much convinced that the very first person that should feature on this award is Mr. Peter Obi, and he's been given the Frugal but Elite Network Award. And by the way, let me give credit to the person that should take this particular Comrade Gentleman. He told me on the back door that he's basically traveling to also ends the network disconnection. So please be with us. Please bear with us. So number 1, the Frugal but Elite Network Award. And you can make so much argument about this because Mr. Peter Obi has a way to be on the side of the oppressed. He pretends to identify with the poor. He pretends to basically side with the oppressed, but it's all written all over him that he still maintains a lot of relationship treatment. He calls them senior brothers, his senior leaders. He called them his elder statesman. He have so much reference for the likes of Mr. Bola Atiku. He calls Atiku his leader basically, and currently he is in their coalition. The coalition of all the politicians that have lost in the both APC and PDP, who have come together to basically want to take power from the top dog in town. Mr. Peter Obi is very much among them, and of course we are getting rumors that he has already picked up or accepted the vice presidential ticket.
Wow.
Running along with Alhaji
Abubakar Atiku. Wow.
So, Mr. Peter Obi is not really with the people after all. He's not taking side with the people. He pretends then, to basically identify with the poor. But we can be corrected on this anyway. But the facts are out there, and that is why it's netly featured under the Pretenders Award. His daily Muhammad, the award given to Red Revolutionary Award, Red Carpet Revolutionary Award. That he writes passionate column against a luxury magazine celebrating the lavish lifestyles of the same ruling class. So he has a particular magazine called the Vision Award, New Magazine. I beg your pardon. So under this magazine, it features luxury events of these ruling elites and their weddings, their lifestyle, and of course he rolls with them, really associating with the likes of Atiku Abubakar. It is in their good books basically. You see him, in their close circle. He rolls with likes of Adeleke of Osun State, dancing governor. So you can see, and his association with the game of things, hence prominently featured in this category of the Pretenders Award. You have the likes of Aisha Yusufu, Hijab Revolution Faith Award, to be iconic in terms of bring back our girls, iconic protest, and end SARS voice for the down. Later criticized for political endorsement and perceived alignment with certain elite factions. So basically followed Mr. Peter Obi to the coalition of established career kleptomaniac politicians. So she is basically with Mr. Peter Obi, and she's basically saying that characters like El Rufai, has a nuisance value. So the Nigerian people should consider working with such ones prominent, that they are somehow useful to us. So he sells this these evil politicians to the Nigerian people right now, and she's very much in their coalition. So she's featured in Pretenders Award because she is known to be on the side of the people, at some point in time. But now she's currently in there. So I think I would hold it there in that section.
You did a great job. Yes. That was a lot. We got to come back to these things with plugs. We have to come back. Visual videos, everything. We got in red carpet affair. I like those awards. That's the last one for the day.
Yeah. The last one will be anchored by Adekunle. That is the last one, which is just the main oppressor pets, tribal bigots, and propaganda machines award.
Okay, so before you guys hit that one, there's no YouTube, Twitter, Hollywood, whatever noisemakers. We should have that in the second round. Oh, wow. Okay, because me, I have 1 or 2 on YouTube. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead, guys. Yo, this is real good. We got to do this again. You want to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to join with the video too? I think I'll send you the link. Won't I send you the link? No, you have sent me the link. What are good devices that you can use to join? No. I have only one.
Don't do the video because you might have technical problems.
Let's roll with it.
With X. Yeah.
Well, since we are quickly rushed through the last category, and I want to appreciate patience because we had a little setback. So it's for a better purpose. This category, there are people that we are much to really say much about them, but just remind of the kind of person they are. My own definition. I know they are propaganda machine. I used to spread bad rhetoric or informations like that. So me, I just believe I will generalize all of them as keypad word without action, because most of what they do is just, and they have no contribution than to water down people's effort and influence people. So these kind of people, we see them as ventures, but the question is, what exactly are they? So lots of them are bigots, are tribal bigots. Most of them are traditional bigots. So, and they're religious bigot as well. So I would like to go with someone that is very popular and is really is not going to step down soon. So that in person of Ari. So his name, as his account was suspended, he was going at the pace that he was not going to slowly put the work on his head, and might have happened to people like that in the past. Maybe they truly deserve it. And I see that they are not even ready. So presently known as Ari Dadai God. That is the name he gave himself. So he has 61,000 followers present and is a verified user. When I say this kind of people can influence a lot of things, you know, someone that has even 1,000, for you to influence 1,000 presently now, do you know the kind of disease you can be onto their mental health? That has over 60,000 followers. So, and we know we are in the era of technology, people always on social media. So what you are doing, people are seeing it regularly. We have a lot of online. So honestly, I really don't want to take this part, and I have my reason want to take it. So I want to explain that reason in a few seconds. The reason is because I was born and brought up in it. So the way we were groomed, the way we interact, and the way we grow up, we don't know anything that has to do with tribalism or being a. So mainly because we grew up in love with each other. We don't know that this one is coming from this side, this one is coming from this other side. So all of us grew up in love. It was maybe 5 or 6 years ago I started knowing that some people fight religious battles, some people fight tribal battles, and it does not sit well with me. So this is one of the reasons why I said I really don't want to take this kind of topic, but someone that does not have a mind of his or her own will easily be carried away or choose the wrong path. Because if you don't have a mind of your own and you come across people that post these kind of things, you will be easily carried away. Am I still audible, please?
Yes, you are.
Yes,
Absolutely.
All right. So come across the social media and see like bigotry posts from people like Ari. It doesn't really sit with me. So we need to groom up the upcoming ones, and as well pass the message to them that these people that you are following, they are a bad influence to your life. So that is the case for Ari. So, and he's not that he's a bigot alone. He enjoys putting down the effort of others. There's a particular guy, his name is Neil. I believe you also know him very well, Neil Official. He has some transactions and delivery. When I went through all what happened, the main aim of Ari was to bring down this guy. He was not fighting that his delivery was late intentionally. His own intention was very different. So this kind of people, they don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see anything to do with growth with you. These same people will fight Hausa, they will fight Yoruba, they will fight this, they will even fight themselves. So they are just keypad warriors that does not have any contribution to the society other than negative contribution. So
before you can I add some keypad warriors I also found on YouTube, because I'm not so much of a Twitter fan and all that, but there were some of the program I'll break two groups of people, like or three, like on some of the program I found that some people on the internet to spread position, confuse the people, spread tribal position them that much as opposed to those that give them the platform to do that. Like on, for example, on Dr. Damage's show, there's this guy called True Niger or Forefather. Oh my God, he hates it and his view. If you give him a boo, he will eat it, and he's so pro establishment or pro oppressors that sound like he has any brain. And I always wonder, why would they in the right mind give this kind of a guy a microphone? Then we have another one. Then you have a few others who come to just talk as if they are brains. One is obvious. They come and muddled up issues, confuse issues, nowhere. They don't stand for nothing, and they are not the people. They are with you. So sometimes I wonder if they are being paid. That guy called Jide, that one wants to talk about politics, even if his own house in Nigeria is burning. And you find that they don't even know nothing about geopolitics. Another one they call Boom Boom Ray. He calls him, they change their name regularly. They don't know real names. They're just crazy. That one is like a strong terrorist sympathizer. And I'll be like, I'll be giving microphone to this kind of people to on the public medium to influence the youth or even talk to anybody. Then you go to the other show, or you man to more show. Then you have one old man, Baba, I never know his real name. But the things that comes out as if it's making any sense is just to defend policies that don't make sense of the current government. And they're just like sheep and goats in my farm. You know, the sheep and the chicken, you know, they will always pull you on doors. Then there's another there's another guy called Just a Maker. That one too will go on any of these medium, both the first two I mentioned and also sometimes to that word, and just try to defend. Don't really make sense. Then there's another one, I think it's Santara or something, Kulata. That one is Kulata. No, they're just these characters out there, and you're right. But this to YouTube though, I thought these ones were bad until I found Twitter, and I saw worse characters than the one I'm complaining about. So when we're giving out awards, maybe I don't know, it's amazing. But those are the characters I've seen, and I mean, oh my God, these people should not have a microphone. And the problem is that those who give them medium is either they are by God themselves, they don't a pushback. So when these people talk, there's no pushback to the lies, misinformation, and propaganda and anti-black, anti-human things they say out of their mouth. Problem, there's no pushback. Those are the people I would hook up when we get this thing done again.
So Twitter is like the best place you can always learn. Most of them know the reason why they stay on Twitter, because Twitter has sense before many of them, even before Elon bought the house. So they find it easier to do a lot of things here because they can always find their on like many other media platforms. So you can imagine that is saying social media is evil. One of our leaders, he says social media is evil, and he's still using the same social platform. So you can see how daft these people can be.
Okay.
But
a question: how does their brain function? Are they not feeling the things we are feeling, or they're just purely evil, or they are paid? What do you think is responsible for people like these? Because that is the path towards progress. People like that won't let the message get to where it needs to get to. But you have to ask yourself that question: to pass a good society to their children? Don't they want to pass something better to their offspring? And why are they like that? An answer for that. Why are people like that? Those people.
So there's a lot of answers to this kind of thing. To know left from right. It is one thing to know light from darkness. It is another thing for you to choose where you want to stay. You can't tell me now because I have a home and I have knowledge what I am supposed to do. I purpose of what the purpose of doing the reason I'm doing is rather. So people mainly do all these things because so I believe they have lost their conscience and they are not ready to be liberated. So that goes back to many reasons why Nigerians are docile when it comes to fighting for what they are supposed to really fight for. So a lot of influencers like that on this platform. Mainly the list I have here are on this platform. I wish there are some other time where to explore them and then bring out.
We will come back in big time in grand. And yes. I'm thinking the next time is going to take us like 6 hours. We're going to with visual pictures and examples of the things they are saying, so that there is not just a winning. We quote exactly. We go back to their programs, they're all recorded anyway, and just play it for the audience. So we will do that. I think we will. We would really concentrate on this.
I have here is Otumba GCFRN. He's a well-known APC guy, supporter. So he's GCFRN. So most of the time, you are known for something. Like I said, even if you have 1,000 followers, you will be able to push the wrong narrative. Once you know this kind of thing, you are trying to say is like rage bait. You know that we want to engage kind of controversial statements. So someone like Otumba now, his followers is not even more than maybe 9,006 or so. But the way he has been projecting himself, he has more than that amount of followers. So when people like them host spaces, when they drop posts that has controversial statements in it, it gets a lot of visibility. Most of the time, they are familiar with war, so they mostly use rage bait. They will intentionally put some keywords that would trigger people to comment, that would trigger people to get angry in their posts. So they are familiar with those kind of activities. So I have another person on the list, which is Lagos Media. One, his bio is Lagos for Lagosians. Must protect Lagos. This user currently about protecting Lagos. and perceive external influence, often in tribalistic tone, critical of Igbo people. He will intentionally refer them as Igbo, and he knows this Igbo, they will get triggered because their real way of spelling their name. So he knows how to use those. He will make mockery of Peter Obri, and things and incident that is related to it. The person I have here as well is Ayo. Username is Marioless. So he has Yoruba blood full, according to him. His account is heavily centered on strong Yoruba pride. So someone like Ayo is engaging in activities that has to do with defending Yoruba, defending Lagos, and associating with whatever has to do with Lagos, APC, and that. Most of the time, these people, they collect cheap gigs out their own people just for peanuts. And it's part of what is affecting us because we see them as... In fact, we have a lot of Yorubas.
Do you really think the ruling party is actually paying, like I've heard in the grapevine? But yeah, do you think they are getting paid to...
I have come across a verified source, and this person told me that, look, they are paying this kind of people sometimes for what they're doing. There was a post some months ago. One of them got angry because he was just doing his own at free will. So he got to a point, he realized and that was how some people get to know that they are being for some of these things that they are doing. And guess what? This money are just peanuts compared to the standard of living that we deserve as a true citizen. How can a country that has milk be eating from crumbs just because some set of people are sold out their dignity and their fellow citizen? So they have said earlier, one of their reasons for doing so is because they are benefiting from it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see, let me see who I have lastly on my list. I have 7 people though. I have more than that, but because
we will come back to it. You see, I got about 10 also, so that I can.
Yeah, Uncle Shike is one of the people I have here as well. He's also a social capital, someone that believes in capitalism, nationalism, social justice. So he's from the Igbo tribe as well. He has more than 7,005 followers.
But in all those things doesn't matter. What matters is that they are betrayal of their own race and their own people.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have 100 million followers without them. The point is, are you influencing the young ones in a positive way? Have you contributed positively to your society? Have you changed anybody? Have you helped your people?
This particular Okushike, he supports a referendum for Biafra independence. And he argues that Igbo people are trapped in Nigeria. So he's calling for international intervention, tagging people like Donald Trump and Israeli officials. So most content is highly polarizing and focus on separate. He's pushing for pro-Biafra. So on their own interests, they always make sure what they want, they sell it out at maximum rate. They always want that visibility that this is we want, this is where I'm coming from, this is the final their interest at the front line. So they prioritize themselves, their selfish interest or humanity. This what the
And I think that and I think that is why it's important we call them we label them, because anybody that puts anything above humanity is not worthy to be human. This is why we're doing this type of award. We will do it more detailed with graphics, with pictures, with visual, with the right streaming network that works with that doesn't have technical problem, and we will represent this. Do you have any last word before we round up in the next few minutes?
Yeah, I think I'm through with whatever I want to say. Yeah, my last words are we should just have a mind of our own and know the difference between light and darkness. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This has been very informative and very good. Is there anybody on the platform who wants to have any last statements, like a minute or two? Anybody wants to say one thing before we close out? But my own last word is to tell you guys that I believe that we have two Nigerians. We have Nigerians that have been raised or brought up with what I call a slave mentality. They take the road to subordination, the mind of a neo-colonizer, the mind of dependency, the mind that the country can only exist by importing. Independence to them is only on paper. The country can only exist by importing things, importing food, importing currency, imported machinery, imported weapons. And the only thing we can do is to export raw materials and human beings leaving the country. These are mentality of what was handed over to us by the colonialists, and some people have been impacted with this. So it is a question of what drives them is what they want to drive, not what really drives a man. So there are those kind of people, and then there are the other group of people who truly want true independence, the people who want a road to sovereignty, both individual sovereignty and collective sovereignty, who wants to turn things around, who do not want to depend on the colonizer, who wants to lead real independence, who wants to reject subserviency, who wants to extract the God-given wealth, who wants to show their hands, not on paper, in the workshop, in the factories, in the laboratories, in their petrochemical factories, etc., who are not dependent on the inflation script given to them by their colonizers, who wants to cut deficit, because those who want to cut deficit to pay 3 to 5 makes no sense. These are all exploitable doctrines that are passed on to us. But there's a lot of people that are like that, and they don't think straight. They're not real black. They're not real black people. They're not real Africans. They don't have that Pan-Africanism spirit. I don't know what they have. Those are the ones fella called those with colo mentality. They've been slaves long before, but the slave chains have been they've not released themselves. They still cannot go beyond the boundaries of where chains were. So those are the two type of categories. We are glad we are on the other side of true sovereignty, true independence. But we continue to talk to them and call them who they are, what they are, that can do. Any other person want to add a last note and a few last comments? Mr. Liberation and any other person, everybody have a chance to say their last word before we close out. I'm done with all I got to say, and I thank you all for that great job. I think we should redo this in a more detailed, more graphic format with everybody, and probably early in the new year, and then get a better streaming service than this restream that gave us so much tech. Not to say any liberation to you. I'm done.
Thank you so very much. It's been such a pleasure to have this great award for all of the prominent institutions that have featured in our history, that has played a role in our history as a people. And of course, I salute our bravery. I salute our sacrifice, because many of us have sacrificed to be part of this program. I respect all of us so much. And of course, we will do this again, as the host has said, in a grander, bigger way. We would, speak up in silence in the face of oppression. We will not remain silent or docile in the face of, tyranny. We shall be a voice that will keep highlighting and setting the record straight for our people to learn a thing or two, them to be able to be poised to fight for their freedom, basically. Liberation is the goal, and liberation is very, very sweet. There's nothing that we can compare with liberation. Economic liberation, political liberation, a society where the son of a nobody can become somebody without anybody. A society where we can have access to services. A society where we can be proud to be called we are from a particular country. As it is now, we are not proud. Every single day, many things remind us that we are in a plantation. We are in a zoo, basically. As many people would say. So let's cheer up and keep the spirit up. Let's maintain our morale. Let's make sure our morale is always high to be able to stand our ground, to confront oppression, and to organize towards bringing down this, terrible empire that has brought salt and blood to our people. So thank you so much, everybody. That's my own last word for today. And big shout out and respect to all the speakers, and of course, they are tuned in. Big respect and shout outs to everybody. That will be my last statement for today. I look forward to having the next version of this. I look forward to having everyone join in to have it say one way or the other. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for listening. Any other person?
Any last words, or any other person would like to before we pass it back to the host? All right, host, please take it away.
Okay.
Nothing much to say.
OI is speaking, yeah.
The place will on everything, and I think our alignment on the cause for liberation for our country and our people all together is all that matters now, and anything that will have to push out there that has to do with the truth is something that we should that with every ounce we've got, so much other than we have to stand by the truth, whether it's touch us, it's us, or the truth is the truth. That's why we're here. Thank you to host, and thank you, Cole.
Yeah, thank you all very much. I want to end on this, what's his name? Anthony Joshua issue. All the rich people in Nigeria, the millionaires, the billionaires, those abroad that just see Africa as a place to go for holiday, or Nigeria as a place to go as a burial ground, let them know they have to be part of the struggle, no matter how individually as a Nigerian. But we are all collectively poor, very poor. You only realize this during an emergency like Anthony Joshua did. A fire breaks out, or there is no fire service, an accident happens, there is no first aid, no ambulance, no system. Today, a world boxing champion like Anthony Joshua, yesterday that is, was involved. Not a single ambulance showed up. Someone that rich and globally known, people only gathered around him like it was a carnival. No safety trained response, just chaos. An accident that claimed 2 lives. Last month, an aide to a sitting governor was stabbed at a political event. Somebody lifted him on his shoulder, gory side, still no ambulance, not even for a governor's aide. That is real poverty. In Nigeria, money does not you in a crisis. Influence does not protect you. When it matters most, everyone is poor. To each and the influential Nigerian demanding a better country is for the poor masses. One day you will understand. In an emergency, you are just as poor as the rest of us. Nigeria is poor. The rich should listen. Thank you all. God bless you all for attention and listening.